What if every time your chinchilla made that sharp barking sound, it was actually trying to tell you something urgent, and you might be missing the message completely? Picture this. You're relaxing in the evening when suddenly your chinchilla lets out a series of sharp, startling barks. They sound almost like a small dog warning of an intruder. Your first thought might be panic. Is something wrong? Is he hurt? Or is this just some random noise he makes? The truth is that bark is anything but random. Chinchillas have a sophisticated communication system, and their barks are packed with meaning. Once you learn to decode them, you'll understand your pet on a whole new level. Chinchillas are naturally vocal creatures. In the wild, they live in large colonies in the Andes Mountains, where communication isn't just social, it's essential for survival. Their sounds help them warn each other about predators, establish territory, express discomfort, and even show contentment. The bark is one of their most distinctive and misunderstood vocalizations. Many owners assume it's just a noise of excitement or annoyance, but it's far more specific than that. Let's break down exactly what your chinchilla is trying to tell you when it barks. There are 3 primary contexts where barking occurs, and each one reveals something different about your pet's emotional state. The first and most common reason for barking is alarm. In the wild, chinchillas are prey animals, constantly watching for threats. That instinct remains strong even in the safety of your home. A series of rapid, high-pitched barks usually means your chinchilla has detected something it perceives as dangerous. This could be a sudden loud noise, like a door slamming or a vacuum cleaner starting. It could be a shadow moving quickly across the room, or even a new object placed near their cage that they haven't had time to investigate. When you hear this alarm bark, your chinchilla is essentially shouting, "Heads up, something's not right." Their body language will usually match the sound. They might freeze in place, ears perked forward, eyes wide and focused. Some will stand on their hind legs to get a better view of the perceived threat. This isn't just noise, it's a survival mechanism kicking in. The second type of barking is territorial or social assertion. Chinchillas may bark when they feel their space is being invaded or their status is being challenged. This often happens when introducing a new chinchilla to the cage, or when you rearrange their environment significantly. The bark in this context is usually deeper and more repetitive, almost like they're saying, "This is mine, back off." You might notice them accompanying the barks with specific behaviors. Spraying urine, chasing other chinchillas, or aggressively gnawing on cage bars. This isn't necessarily aggression in the harmful sense, it's their way of establishing boundaries and social order. In multi-chinchilla households, you might hear this bark during feeding time or when competing for a favorite sleeping spot. The third context is what I call the frustration bark. This occurs when your chinchilla wants something it can't access or is prevented from doing something it wants to do. Maybe you've just taken out their favorite treat but haven't given it to them yet. Maybe they see you preparing their dust bath but the cage door is still closed. This bark is often shorter, less intense, and may be mixed with other sounds like soft grunts or squeaks. It's their way of saying, "Hey, I see that. When do I get it?" You'll often see them pacing near the cage door or standing up against the bars while making this sound. It's not panic or anger, it's anticipation mixed with impatience now. Here's where it gets really interesting. The same bark can vary in pitch, frequency, and duration to convey different shades of meaning. A single sharp bark might be a simple alert, like noticing a bird outside the window. A rapid series of barks suggests higher urgency. Perhaps a cat has entered the room. A low, grumbling bark might indicate lingering annoyance rather than immediate fear. Learning to distinguish these subtle differences comes with time and observation. But once you start listening closely, you'll recognize patterns unique to your chinchilla. What should you do when you hear barking? For alarm barks, the best response is to calmly identify and remove the trigger if possible. Speak softly to reassure your pet. Avoid sudden movements that might escalate their fear. For territorial barking, give them space and time to adjust to changes. Never punish barking. It's a natural behavior, not disobedience. For frustration barks, sometimes the solution is as simple as delivering that treat or opening the cage door. Other times, you might need to ignore the demand barking to avoid reinforcing it. The beautiful thing about understanding chinchilla barks is that it transforms your relationship with your pet. Instead of just hearing noise, you're listening to their language. You become more attuned to their needs, their fears, and their personality. That barking isn't just random sound. It's a window into the mind of a creature that, despite centuries of domestication, still carries the wild in its voice. What other pet sounds would you like me to decode? Comment below with the animal and behavior you're curious about, and I might feature it in a future video.